I know that everyone has a ginormous to-be read list, so I'm always trying to think, what can I do or how can I visually make something that's gonna stand out to you guys and make you think of my book over all these wonderful other books. And I know it's so hard because I'm an avid reader myself. I have a plan to start reading this book and then I see a post about another book and it jumps the spot. So I thought I would just show you kind of like the creative process. I have this idea in my head and I want to try to pluck it out and throw it down on my iPad and just get to creating and illustrating something for you guys. And I hope that it makes sense for you guys and that you enjoy seeing it. And if you don't, there's plenty of other amazing authors. You can swipe and go check out their pages. For those of you who are still here, thank you, and let's get started. So I have this quote, which I will play for you, and this quote from the book is going to inspire the ad. Okay, I'm pressing play, so listen up.
With the outside world, I feel like a pawn in a game of God versus God. She spoke. Her voice was merely a whisper. Everything I thought I knew was a lie.
So originally I had an idea, but imagery and music and all of that, it's such a big inspiration that I saw this one image and it just like swiped and totally replaced the idea I had. And now I have a brand new idea. I want to try to illustrate it. I'd like to try to add some motion to that, and I've done like some kind of stop motion videos in the past with my illustrations. So I would like to try that. And I hope that my original vision will come across in this. So let's get started. So nowadays there's a lot of upcoming software where you can upload your images into it and have them move. I've seen some amazing recreations of some books and scenes that have just blown my mind away. I wish that I could start learning that process, but I just am not ready to delve into that yet. So right now, I'm still using my iPad and manipulating the photos like kind of collage style. So my idea is to take this picture, which if you've been following my page, you have seen this picture before. And yes, just like everyone else out there, I do have to reuse imagery. So how can I make my imagery like different for you guys so you're not just seeing the same regurgitated yet gorgeous face? So the quote is, she feels like she's in a game of God versus God. So I kind of imagine her feeling like this pawn or a puppet. So I want to try to make his fingers like the puppeteer master, and I want to have strings on it. And if I knew how to use other software that could animate, like just take a photo, drop it in and say, lift his hand, then that would be so simple and we would already be done and you'd be watching it. But we're not there yet, so we have to pour the hours of work in here to get him to move it. So I want to try some way to see if I can get him like move the photo slightly to make it look like he's moving his hand. So he's puppeteering her. I think the perfect image for her, which you guys, yes, you've seen me use this image on social media. This is Nova. I want to try to have her moving like the puppet. And then beyond that, I'm hoping that the artistic process, like the next phase of the motion and that will just come to me. And it usually does come to me, and I try not to force the idea. So let's take little baby steps and let's try doing this before I see the whole grand scheme of things. A little behind the scenes at my setup. It's still a work in progress, but I've been trying to do like that top-down design and all the lights because I painted my office this beautiful earthy olive green, which I absolutely love, but it does make it very dark. So I've had to bring in a lot of lighting. And by the way, that's my poodle statue. She's beautiful, and my little toddler did break her, so she's got, you know, some more beauty in the scar on her face, but we still love her. And yeah, this is where I make all my illustrated books. So I've been working on staying consistent with the graphic style for this series, and I found a look and an aesthetic that I really love. And if you've been following me on social media, you'll see a lot of that includes like scribbling lines and having the letters kind of like disappear behind the figures so it looks set in. So I'm gonna try to continue that with him. So when I make the stop motion, everything is a separate picture. So by the end of it, I usually have a few dozen to up to 100 or plus pictures that I have to then piece together in a video. So like for instance, I kind of want to have this look. I'll show you my idea where it's like the line and the chaos of his head and all his secrets and lies are coming out and they're wrapping around his fingers. And then it's going to come down like the puppeteer, you know, strings and connect to her. But I need to draw this step by step by step and take a screenshot to show that to you guys. So we're going to delete it. I'm going to make a new layer. And yes, I am working in Procreate. And what I do is I will kind of start this. And unfortunately in Procreate, there's no like shortcut way to save a picture. So I have to do a few clicks each time. If you know a shortcut way, I mean, that would save me so much time. But this is basically what I have to do every time I do a little change. If I do too big of a change and step, then it's gonna make that stop motion look more choppy. So I'm gonna do a few of these and come back. And for those of you commenting geniuses out there, yes, I have considered taking screenshots because that would be an easy click button. The problem with that is it's actually not less time consuming. It's actually a lot more because then I have to go in and crop every single screenshot, and that's literally the pathway to insanity. So I will live with doing these multiple clicks and we will continue on with the show. And for a side note, for those of you who are Procreate experts, yes, I have tried the animation assist. It's been a headache. I can't get the hang of it. I know that I need to get the hang of it because it's a great, fabulous tool, but the onion skin layers and I have to constantly redraw everything again. Yeah, I don't have the patience for that. I have a 3-year-old usually hopping at my hip and I just don't have the patience to learn that. This stop motion and putting all the images together, that's my comfort zone. So until little baby girl can get a little more patience, I'm not gonna dive back into the animation assist just yet. Hey you guys, this is the image I am left with. I'm gonna see what it's like if I can kind of like have his finger going like this, tick, 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 tick. If I don't like how that looks, then I also wanna have his image slowly like rolling up so there's some motion in it, and then that string is gonna eventually be wiggling down and it's connected to Nova. Okay, so I shifted his finger up a little bit. Obviously there's a little bit of discrepancy here, so I'm gonna go in with my soft airbrush brush. I'm just gonna make a new layer in case I don't like it. Obviously, if I was in Photoshop, this could be a lot easier and faster, but I really love working in Procreate when I'm doing these type of like illustrations and stuff. You guys, so this is what it looks like having the finger move. It's not 100% how I want it, but I think in the quick add, you're only gonna see it for a minute, I think it's gonna look okay. I wanted to mention this because I know that a lot of these ideas I mentioned come to me organically and they change as I'm doing them. But when you're doing this type of stop motion imagery, if you want to add something back, that means you have to go all the way back, erase all those images and start again, which is really, really sad and heartbreaking. So it's very important that you are trying to think ahead. And I know what I want this image. I know that I wanted to come down and wrap around her, because if I want to change one teeny tiny aspect or add one more element back, I have to go back in and basically add it to every single photo so it looks like it fits. Yeah, so it is important to think ahead, but also give yourself some leniencies and some creative, you know, liberties to start new ideas. But with the stop motion photography, it's really important to, you know, have some realm of where you want to end up with. I have added in Nova, but Nova has a gray background, so I need to kind of fade that in, and I had the line going where it's coming up. So first what I want to do is I want to make a new layer, And I'm gonna try to have some of this gray kind of more organically, like fading in almost like an ombre effect, so it's not like a huge shock. I also wanted to mention, I kind of like showing you guys these behind the scenes looks because something I never really realized was that writing the book is such a small aspect, and another huge aspect is marketing the book. And I'm lucky that I have, training and a degree in graphic design, but I know how incredibly daunting it is and time consuming for all of these other authors who are indie authors, that you've got to write your book, you've got to be your own marketing agent, you have to do absolutely everything. And I just totally feel for them because I'm in that same boat. It is just like the marketing and the joys of doing all of that. Sometimes it takes away from actually writing the book. It is an incredible struggle and balance that I think you can only understand once you're in the eye of the storm and everything is just like spinning around you and you're trying to balance things. So to all my other authors out there, I'm with you, and I hope that this gives some insight for our fans and everyone to see, just the magnitude that goes into the book. It's just so much hard work. It's just absolutely consuming sometimes, and it's overbearing, but that just proves to all you readers and everyone that we really do love what we're doing, because if we didn't, I don't think the proof would be in the pudding in our writing and all of our ads and everything. And I have to stop talking because I've just realized that I can't concentrate on the layers while talking this much. Hey you guys, now I have some artistic clarity because I'm not sure what I want to do next, but I want to show that there's an incredible amount of like tension and just absolutely utter confusion, because if you've read Dust to Dust, that Nova's kind of thrown into question what the purpose of her game of revenge was. So I'm thinking if I can try to illustrate like that string pulling her taut to the point where she's just kind of gonna burst into all these confusion and lies until Titan can try to piece her back together. Because see if that works out. Sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it does, and that's the beauty of the creative process. I just want to give you guys an understanding of the amount of photos, and I could have like easily quadrupled this if I did inch or little centimeter by centimeter of drawing of the line. But this is so far, I mean, we're not even done the illustration, and these are all the stop motion like kind of photos I've done to show that, the line is moving, so you can kind of see it this way. This is actually a pretty good way to test it out. And like I said, like I got to a point where you can see this coming in like a bigger chunk. If I wanted to add more frames, I could have broken that down into 10 or even 20 different pictures. But that's what we have so far. I couldn't show you where I jumped off to because I just needed to kind of creatively explore and put my music on and do my own thing. So this is where we're left off, and I think I'm gonna go in and start playing with some quote and text things and see what the final design is. You might be looking at this and saying, hey, what happened? What did you do? Well, there's a little story and a little in-between goodiness that gets to this, and you will see it when the final ad comes out.